Happy Sunday, everyone. Welcome to this week's homemaking weekly reset. Today I did not get a lot done. Just a heads up, it's 37 degrees today and our air conditioning is not really working. So it's been a long day. To start with, we've got some pumpkin here that we're just processing. We got a bag of potatoes given to us by our neighbour. Also, they gave us a loaf of bread and some hot dog rolls. They had some school holiday program and had some things left over. So graciously have accepted those, and I'll show you what we're planning on doing with them. First up, the pumpkin. I started chopping it up and then realized I hadn't filmed it all for you. The potatoes I'm putting into this container. I got this container ages ago from Kmart. I so love it. It's so easy to pick the whole container up when we need it, to be able to put it on the bench and grab any potatoes out. So I highly recommend that. And then the rest of the pumpkin I'm just going to chop up. I got this food saver ages ago from Coles and it only cost me $10. It was on clearance in the special buys section thing that they have, and the packet of bags as well. This was $5 and I've got a whole roll as well, so I try and make my own bags from time to time. I'm still figuring out the best way to use this. I just don't have the knack for it. I don't think I leave enough space in the bags to properly vacuum seal. Because I struggle with the concept that it's such a waste to leave such a big space and have to cut the plastic, but I think it is what it is. So I did seal up this bag with some pumpkin. There is some air in it, but at least the plastic is a thicker plastic, so if it stays in the freezer, it's probably not going to get freezer burn as quickly as other things do. The last little bit of pumpkin I just chopped up and put into a basic Ziploc bag, and I'll throw that in the freezer. So if this gets a little bit icy, it will be okay, because it's just going to go into a stew, so that won't be too bad. But I don't really have any other pumpkin in the freezer, so it's probably not going to last very long at all. Next up, I'm going to make some milk. We're actually out, and luckily I have some powdered milk in the cupboard just for this reason, and thanks to the NutriBullet that my mum gave me, it is pretty easy to whip up a batch. I'm only going to make up about 2 cups worth, so we can make some breakfast with it. I can have some milk with my smoothie, and then just milk for coffees and Milo throughout the day when people need it. So it's great inside baking as well. Next up, I'm making French toast with 3 of the 6 hamburger rolls. I just cut them up into little pieces. I'm going to dredge them in a mixture of egg and milk, and then I'm going to cook them on the sandwich press that we have. I can fit a lot more on there than a saucepan, fry pan, and it's just a little bit easier not having to stand over near the stove. So I cook it all here. I'm boiling some eggs today because they have been so good to have in the fridge during the week. My son likes to actually eat an egg at lunchtime, so that's really handy, extra protein for him. And also I mash mine up with some aioli sauce and have it either on its own as a salad or inside a sandwich. Apologies if you hear any banging in the background. I had just popped over to the shops to do a little bit of food shopping, and because I'm undercover, I've sat here to finish editing because I normally edit in my car. But again, it is 34 degrees today, and so editing at home where my car is in the sun, and yeah, so I thought I'll just edit quickly before I drive home. So hopefully this is okay, it's not too bad. I hope for me it sounds louder outside than what it does in the video. I'm making my daughter some pancakes because she doesn't like French bread. She says it tastes eggy. Funny about that, seeing the base is egg. But she says she can taste it and it doesn't taste good. So I thought I'd make her some pancakes, and I'm using up the last of the milk that I've just made. So I make some more after this, which I don't show you, but I'm super glad that I do have the milk powder and that I was able to make the milk up, because as you see, we go through it pretty quickly. And then I accidentally grabbed the wrong container of flour. I grabbed plain flour instead of self-raising. So the pancakes were nice and flat, but my daughter said they were still good. Dinner was just leftovers because it was easier to zap them in the microwave. I was not turning the oven on today. And then in the evening I just made some butter from some cream that I had that I didn't get up using for something else I was planning on doing. So I figured let's turn it into butter and then we'll be able to make cookies down the track when it is not so hot. If you've never made butter before, and a whole lot of people on TikTok never have, they didn't know that you just whip up cream. You just put it into a stand mixer or a handheld mixer. You might get sore. You could probably do a stick blender, but again, it does take a good 10 to 15 minutes to whip it up. You will need to wipe down the sides from time to time just to make sure that it's all blending together. And then you keep going until you hear it start getting really sloshy, or if it just starts spitting out buttermilk all over the top. And then you are left with a beautiful lump of yellow butter. Take it out of the whisk. This probably is the most fiddlest part. And then you dunk it into some cold water and then give it a bit of a squeeze and mix it around again. You keep washing the butter until the water till the butter runs clear. No more buttermilk is coming out of it. I will then weigh it just to check. I'm finding that about 600 mils of cream makes about 250 to 300 grams of butter. It just depends how well I've gotten every little bit out of the buttermilk. And then I'll form it into a block and I'll throw it into the freezer. And then if I want to make cookies, I'll grab out butter that I've made previously, so I have it going through as a rotation through the butter. I've never had freezer burn with butter, but I just make sure that I have things turning over constantly. The buttermilk I will put into a Ziploc container and I'll throw it into the freezer. I try and freeze it flat, and then I can fit quite a few in there. And then the buttermilk is there ready if I want to do pancakes or soak chicken in buttermilk, which I've seen online, which I'm tempted to do, or anything else that needs buttermilk. I haven't fully explored all the possibilities yet, but I've been saving all the buttermilk just in case. Thank you for joining with me today. I'm sorry it wasn't a lot, but as I said, 37 degrees and in the kitchen. Woof! It was a warm day. I didn't even do any washing today because heading outside, I would have been burnt to a crisp. So I thought I would just share with you a couple of little adventures that have kept me up to date. Thanks for watching, and I look forward to seeing you next time. Bye!